look who's in the shop. My old girl LaFonda. She needs some love, guys. And unfortunately, that love is an intake manifold gasket. Granted, those aren't bad, but half the time you break some studs off, and I really hope that's not the case on her. She's a clean girl, so hopefully there's no corrosion on there. So we gotta do an intake manifold gasket. And with that being said, I'll be doing the intake manifold Plenum plate upgrade, and I'll show you guys what that is when we get there. Other things we are doing, the alternator is bad. So we'll be doing a 160 amp Durango alternator upgrade and a WJ power steering pump upgrade as well, since everything's already gonna be taken apart. Might as well. So with that being said, I'm gonna take off this grill, because this is a 5.9 grill. I don't wanna ruin it by leaning up on it the whole time. We're gonna take that off and start getting this thing pulled apart. I've had LaFonda for 7 years, guys. I bought her back in 2019. She was super stock, never had anything done to her. And over the years, I've put a 3-inch puck lift on it. I put this current 4.5-inch rough country lift on it. She has been to Moab a couple times. She has been to St. George. It has been an amazing Jeep. I've driven it to Arizona. I've driven it to Washington. This thing has been on very long road trips, and she has always been good. She's always ran good, and she still runs good, but she burns a lot of oil now. When my transmission was pulled out, they said that they replaced the rear main seal, but it was still leaking oil from the intake manifold gasket, so it's about due time. I really want to get that leak fixed, and we're going to Moab in a couple weeks, so what better time than the free time I have today, tomorrow, and the next day. One way to tell if your plenum gasket's bad is you want to take off your throttle body and you want to peek as far back as you can, and if you see a puddle up of oil, you got a bad plenum. I have that. I'm going to try to show you, but it's probably not going to go very well. So you can kind of see it right there. There's a big puddle right there. That shows you your intake plenum's bad, and there's also oil buildup in here, so that would explain why I burn blue smoke all the time. You can also see it back there faintly. So, about time we did this. I'm feeling good today. Every single bolt came out, so we don't have to worry about that. I did get new bolts. These are torque to yield bolts. You don't technically have to replace them. This is only 12 foot-pounds and you torque it down, but I'm going to anyways. So, let's get this thing ripped off. Oh. Gotta love when the stool falls out from under you. Ooh. These are all smoothened out. They feel like fresh metal, guys. So those are done for now. Next step, clean this guy off. You can already tell, I mean, there's some gasket hanging out. I mean, this gasket's bad. That one's hanging out quite a bit, so I'm excited to get this replaced. We're also replacing this plate with the Plenum plate upgrade. It's like a 1/4-inch plate because this likes to bend and bow and all that. So I'm pretty excited. It's on the shelf right there. Let's get this cleaned up, put back together. Ew. Yeah, that gasket was toast. We don't have to worry about that now. Oh, oil's all puddled up in there. We're gonna wipe this thing out. And there is our Plenum plate upgrade. It's 1/4-inch thick, keeps it from ever warping, and gives you a little more performance as well. Well, there she is, back on. We got most everything hooked up. I am looking for a WJ power steering pump and a new alternator before I throw everything else back together. So it's on pause for right now. But she's back together. She's been drying for a while. I think we're gonna be good, guys, and I'm excited to see if this thing runs better and if our shifting issue is potentially fixed. Basically what it was doing was, once it would warm up at low speeds, under 20 miles an hour, it would kick up and down from first to second gear, and it did it so much. It was so unenjoyable. Anytime I would slow down under 20 to make a turn and then hit on the gas, it would jump all the way down to first gear and just rev up super high. And at first I thought it was a kickdown. I adjusted the kickdown cable, didn't help it. I changed the sensors in the transmission, didn't help. What else did I frickin' do? I changed sensors on the motor, didn't help. Took it to a tranny shop, 3 transmission shops, said that it needed a rebuild, said that something was going on. So I paid $3,500 to have a full rebuild done on this. Issue was still there. Then I was getting a PCM code, changed the PCM, did not fix it. So I've changed everything that would normally affect that electronic wise. So I'm thinking I had a vacuum leak, and that was throwing off like the map sensor and the air fuel ratio, stuff like that, which is throwing off when the car was supposed to shift. So hopefully this fixes it, and hopefully at least gives me a bunch of my power back and stops burning some freaking oil. All right, basically back together. We got it going with the clutch fan now. I upgraded from the metal fan blade to this. It's actually an OEM Grand Cherokee. It's like the California style fan blade. So it gives you, I believe, 12 blades instead of just 5, and it should pull a lot more air. On another note, for now, I still have my normal alternator and regular boring old ZJ power steering pump on there. I couldn't find the 160 amp at the junkyard like I was hoping, so I gotta see if I can find it online. And I was gonna get a power steering pump from the junkyard off of a 4.7 WJ, but I'd honestly just rather save up and get a brand new one just to be sure. And it works. So right now it's not the most important thing. Most important thing, making sure it runs good now and doesn't leak any more oil, doesn't leak coolant. And after that, we can finally start on the cosmetics, getting the, well, we're gonna run a new trans cooler. My trans cooler has leaked for quite a while, but then we can start on the lift, the frame stiffeners, all that fun stuff, because I only have 2.5, 3 weeks to get that all done. So I guess let's keep going. Well, I got her warmed up. Ignore that, that is a tranny leak, but so far so good. That's excess from what I spilt when I drained everything, but I think for now, I'm gonna take it on a quick drive and see how it holds up to that and kind of go from there. I believe we have done a very successful intake manifold repair. Once again, on the old girl, LaFonda. Took it on my little loop. She's good. Again, that's just excess. What was dripping off of this when I spilt coolant earlier. But we are bone dry under here. Not necessarily a power difference, but she idles so much smoother. All right, players. Time to get this whole front clip off. We're gonna get this cooler swapped out and not leaking anymore. I'm sick of it leaking. So, and I just want to run a bigger cooler. It's always good to have your transmission stay nice and cold, especially when you mainly off-road it. So, yeah, let's get started. Stop wasting time. All that stuff. She's off. Easy as that. So here's the tranny cooler I got. It's the Hayden 679. It's a pretty good one. Has really good reviews. I ran it on my wife's 4.0, and it kept the transmission pretty cool. And you can see it's double the size of the stock one. Now, the benefit of me already having one is I can use these existing lines, but I don't like the way they routed them from the factory. Basically what happens is the tranny fluid goes into the radiator from the bottom. It comes up, out through this top line, and how they routed it is the top line then reattaches to the top of the cooler. Fluid flows down, out the bottom line, and back to the radiator. How I'm going to route it and how they normally should be routed is the fluid that comes out of the radiator should go into the bottom of the cooler, and that way it's forced to stay in the cooler for a little longer as it goes up and then out and back to the tranny. It just keeps it extra cool. So that's how we're going to run it. Luckily, I can still use the existing lines. I'll probably just chop this line down to like right here, and then we'll just run a line straight down and on the other line up. I'm going to mount this guy. Yeah. Basically right in here. So I'm gonna take this brace out and we'll just mount it this way, and that way the lines can just attach straight to where they need to go. Fairly simple. I also got some nylon 6AN tranny line. It's not, well, it is tranny line. It's made for the tranny line, so it is tranny line. But it's just really durable and it holds up really well compared to regular rubber hoses. So that's what I'm gonna use. So anyways, and I'm not gonna use the zip ties to attach it to the cooler. I'm gonna make my own brackets and probably just use these mounts because they're a lot stronger, and I really don't like the idea of running zip ties through the trans cooler and the radiator. I just don't like it. So I'm gonna pop this old cooler off and we'll go from there. Okay, we've got her on there. Got it secured there, and then I built the bracket. We got it secured on the top. This thing is not moving. Got the lines on. We got the return line all the way to the transmission coming out the top. and we have the inlet going into the bottom, and that way, like I said, the fluid can take its time coming up, have more time to cool, and then get over to the transmission. Gonna throw it back together, grill back on everything, and we'll fire it up and make sure we got no leaks, and then we'll drive it around and see how it does. So I took the grill back off. I think I'm gonna redo this upper line here that goes straight back to the transmission. Reason why is because it goes from this line to this hard steel line right there. Then it goes right into this line right here, which I'm pretty sure is leaking. And that's just 4 different connections to get back to this hard line. So I'm just gonna cut this off like right here and just run a new line all the way from the cooler to here, and that limits the connections and gets rid of this old connector right there. There she is, looped all the way around. A lot cleaner. So hopefully it doesn't leak from there, but that clamp's pretty tight, so it shouldn't. All right, so tranny cooler's done. Everything's good. She runs good, she drives good. Tranny stays at like 140 degrees, which is perfect. That's what I like. We're gonna take it over to my buddy's house. I have it loaded on the trailer. He's gonna help me prep the frame. We're gonna get the frame stiffeners all welded on, painted up, ready to go so I can get the long arm kit on. Guys, check this out. We took LaFonda over to my buddy's this weekend, and we got our frame stiffeners knocked out, full front to rear. So now we got some grinding to do. We got to pull it apart again, grind all these down, put some seam sealer on all the unwelded parts, and then prime and paint it so it does not rust. And then the biggest issue we're having right now is we didn't have time to weld my rear truss on. I probably could, but the welder I have is just a 90 amp, 120 volt wire feed. So don't know if I trust that structurally to be supporting the rear long arms. So I need to see if I can find someone who can weld the truss on for me this week. If not, I really need to figure something out, because I might just be going to Moab on my short arms again, but I really don't want to. So I'm gonna pull this in the garage. We'll get the frame stiffeners all cleaned up and painted today, and move on to the next thing. All right, she's taken apart. Man, guys, it's not even hard. It's just a pain in the ass. This is the 3rd time I've had it apart, and not the last, because I still got to put the other lift on it. But now what we got to do is just clean up all these welds. We got some seam sealer we'll put everywhere that's not welded, like I said, and then start painting it. All smooth, baby girl. She is ready for some seam sealer and some paint. She ain't the prettiest thing in the world, but we got the whole thing all the way around, completely seam sealed. So now it's time to finally paint this thing, then I can get her back on 4 wheels. First coat of chassis paint is all done. Look how clean that looks. We have to modify our aftermarket radiator support, because since we put the frame stiffeners on, it added about a 1/4 inch thickness to where it mounts to, and it barely fit the stock frame alone. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do to this thing. Mounts to these 2 holes right here, normally up into these, but like I said, yeah, we're just gonna mount them here, and then I can get this together and all this thrown back together finally once we're done painting. All done. So I took the Jeep over to the guy to have the truss welded, not realizing that because it's a 4-link, it actually does not need the track bar and does not need the upper control arms on there. So we got to cut those mounts off, which means the Jeep would be sitting in his shop and he doesn't have room for that. So he had me come back. I'm gonna pull the rear axle and bring it to him tomorrow morning, and he'll get everything welded together for me. There it is. Off the Jeep, we're on the jack stands, and we are ready to get this thing prepped. We're gonna cut off both upper control arm mounts, taking the track bar mount with it because we don't need that piece of garbage anymore. And then we're gonna grind down where the truss is gonna go and have it all prepped, for the welder, and that'll save me a lot of money and it'll save him a lot of time. Everything on my end is officially done. We got the mounts off, we got it ground down so that he can do his thing. Well, we got the truss back. I'm not gonna show you until I'm at that point, but right now we're just assembling the front of the Jeep. That's kind of the first step. We'll get that all together and then we'll get the rear end back together. So here's the 3-link setup. We got the 2 lower arms here and the upper arm there. And what we need to do is put these bushings together on the control arms and then set the starting lengths, which the instructions give you. I don't know exactly how high I'm gonna be yet. I'm guessing 5 to 5.5 inches. So I might have to fine tune this and go get me like a little caster measurement thing so I can set this correctly. But for now, we'll just put it at the starting lengths, put the bushings together. And since I'm trying to rush to get this done, I'm not gonna show every little bit of me working on it, but I will show you when I get the bushings in and the subframes on and keep you up to date on the progress as we go through. Well, we got a little update for you guys. We got the cross member on and we have the 3-link on the front. Now I'm kind of at a standstill for now because I don't have the rear axle in yet, and the plan is once the rear axle's in to kind of set the axles up on jack stands, put the wheels on it, and then start adjusting to make sure that we're even side to side and we're even on the wheelbase back and forth. So for the rear cross member, we have our holes drilled, and basically what we have to do is take these guys and we have to feed them in the frame through that with some wire and just push them over to the holes so they're sitting directly over them, and then screw the cross member in. So this is gonna be the most tedious part right here, but then the cross member should be in no time. So we're about to get this second brace on. I have this side on over here, but because the frame stiffeners don't fit perfectly, these holes don't line up. I mean, you can't really see it. Oh, there you go. See, it overlaps the other hole. So I'm slowly grinding them out. Got this little guy here, and we're just gonna auger all of these holes out towards the frame until we can fit all the bolts in. Boy, do I have an update for you. Check it. Boom. 4-link on. 3-link on. I have verified that my pinion angle in the rear is where it needs to be for the most part. Front pinion angle is a little higher than I want, but it's the most I can get out of it right now. I'm not too concerned. It's at about 9 degrees, which is fine, but it should be about 6 degrees. I just can't get enough adjustment right now, weirdly, to get that, but I'm not too concerned. I'm just trying to get it together for the shakedown run at Moab. Right now, we're getting these extended brake lines on, so I already got it attached up here, and this block goes to the back of the caliper. I had to do a little bit of modifying on the mounting surface right there to get it to fit, but we're going together. That was a horrible shot, but we're going together. I'm gonna get the brake lines on all 3 sides, and I'm gonna call it a night. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm kind of tired. I've been working on this 3 days straight. But once the brake lines are on, we're literally just throwing the suspension back on and we're good to go. I am gonna go get an alignment, and I might take it somewhere and have them potentially professionally align the axles. I've just been using a measuring tape and a level gauge, but we'll see how it drives afterwards. Well, I got the last extended brake line ran, and now what we're gonna have to do is rebuild both lines for each side. She ain't the prettiest thing in the world, but for my first brake line, look at that. It goes up the back of the truss, comes up from there, wraps all the way around the truss, and to right there. So I got the long one done. The easy one, I'm like an inch short, so I need to go get some more brake line. We got the brakes on, started bleeding. It was going well. I had to fix a couple leaks at the fittings, no big deal. Did the rear, moved to the front, and we started pouring brake fluid. Now, why is that? It's because I'm an idiot, and I tried to modify these brake calipers and screwed up the mating surface. See? Right there, the little silver circle, that's where the little O-ring goes. I tried to grind this tab, and I ground that down, and we were leaking like crazy out of there. So now I gotta go spend 80 bucks on 2 new calipers. Not bad, but still a pricey mistake. But I'll just modify the fittings now, not the brake calipers. So we're gonna pick these up, get these on here, and finally get these bled. And all I gotta do is throw the shocks and the springs on, and we put it back on its own weight, and we're about ready to take it for a drive. We've bled the brakes. They are holding. That means it's time, well, to refill up the brake reservoir just a little bit and put the suspension on. I'm super excited. Okay, good news. The springs are on. They sit good, they look good. This is off the jack stand, so that's ride height. So the wheel will be like right here. It's a lot higher than I thought, which is where the bad news comes in. These are the shocks I got. I got them used, okay? So they still have the bar pins in them. I need to cut these out because the rear doesn't take them, but these might be too short. I think those are for a 4-inch lift. I don't think they're gonna fit how they need to on the Jeep. The bottom, you know, goes in there roughly. And that's where the top sits. That's full flexed out on the shock at ride height, which is not gonna work. She's sitting on her own weight. We're at about 5 1/4 lift in the front and about 5 inches exactly in the rear. These metal cloak springs are freaking awesome, dude. Look at that. Those things are sweet. I mean, they're a little crooked. Basically, there's no shocks on it because originally it didn't look like the shocks were gonna work and I was freaking out, but once it was on all 4 tires, the suspension settled a little bit. And so I am gonna use these. They're about an inch and a half shorter than what I'm supposed to have, but for a shakedown run, they're gonna work. So we got the old bushings pressed out because these had bar pins in them, which I don't need on the rear. And the guy who welded my truss on, he's freaking awesome guy. He always gets me in like last minute. He gave me a bunch of bushings that I can kind of shape and make work on these for now, because I can't get bushings in time. So I'm gonna shape these bushings, probably shave them down, get them pressed in. We'll get the shocks mounted up, then all we have to do is mount one brake line back to the body, grease up all of the joints, and then this is going over to the alignment shop, and he's gonna try to get me in between this evening and tomorrow, which is the last day, and he's gonna try to center all the axles and adjust everything. Homemade bushing, that's gonna work perfectly, guys. So I've been doing some thinking, and I think I'm just gonna get rid of my rear sway bar. I'm high enough now, I don't really need it, and these are kind of pointless anyways. The fronts make a difference, the rears don't. And then, if you notice, my spring is a little bowed. I mean, with longer springs, that can be kind of normal, even if your alignment is fine, but hopefully taking it to the alignment shop fixes that a little bit, but I'm not super worried about it. Well, guys, had her aligned. They got me in last minute. Point S. Shout out to them. Got me in last minute, got her aligned. She drives good. I mean, she has some vibration, but it's a lifted Jeep, so it's not gonna ride good. Well, well, well. Look at that. She's all shined up. We got the Rough Country sticker off the back. Whew, look at that paint. We got that American flag sticker off there that was looking kind of weird. The back is a little higher right now in the front, but that back spring is technically made for the front of a Wrangler, so it'll settle eventually. Hopefully level it out. I do still plan on putting a spacer up front, especially when I get a bumper, but I gotta get longer shocks first. Next step, we're gonna bring her over to the trailer and we're gonna flex out each side. I'm gonna make sure the brake lines look good and she flexes okay. And then we'll load her up, tie it down, and it's ready to go. Oh, damn, baby. It's not that big of a flex ramp, but I mean, she flexes. That's more flex than the rear axle's ever gotten. I like it. Woo! And there's the other side. Damn, baby. Ooh, she is sitting so good. So much higher than it was too. That's probably the highest I'm gonna go. I think it's about more like 5.5, almost 6 inches up. And I'm not a height guy, I'm more of like a width guy, because you get too high, it gets a little top heavy, but that's probably the height I'm gonna go. It's not a bad height at all. But we're in Moab. After I flexed it out for you, we loaded it up and drove here, got in last night, drove it into town. It does great. So today's the first day we're gonna take it on some trails and see how it does. It'll be a good little shakedown run. It's early in the morning, so I'm talking quiet, but we'll see if anything breaks, falls apart. I don't think it will, but we'll see. And The drive shaft is still short, so we just gotta keep an eye on that, make sure that that is not gonna fall out on me. Hopefully not, but I brought a spare if it does. And then I brought my old rough country shocks with me because technically these are a little too short, so if I blow one out, I have backups. And this will help me make a list of more things that I'm gonna need after this trip. So once we figure out where we're gonna go, we'll get some videos this weekend. We're here for a couple days, so I am excited. You're good. Toe is gonna hit. Okay, you're good. Nice, got an inch. Your mom's gonna hit. Oh. You're good. You got an inch. I think my dad's a little jealous of my approach and departure angle now. He keeps making me do stuff and then having to do it after me to see if he's rubbing too. Mine's better. Woo. Okay, so I lost brakes coming down this hill, which is not the funnest thing. And this caliper bolt that holds the line of the caliper is pretty loose, so we're just going to re-bleed it. And hopefully I make it down the rest of the way. Applying the brakes now. I think we are good. But Josh just pooped himself.
You're there, stay passenger alone. Okay, you're actually out now.
So once again, my brakes have failed, and the line burst, so we had to clamp them off. We are on Hell's Revenge and about to go back down the incline to over there. So I have one front brake. We're gonna see how well I make it down with one front brake and no working e-brake. Man, I am pushing this brake so hard over obstacles, dude. I did make it down though. Sorry I didn't get any footage, guys. I don't have a GoPro and it's very hard to film when everyone's trying to guide their rigs.
Doing great so far. Oh, driver! He just got to keep himself like barely slowing down because you can see it's the driver's side wheel. It's not going, but he was locking up.
Well, we made it out, and it was a little sketchy. My back end was coming out, and the wheels were still spinning, so I kind of flew down that, but we're here in one piece. Go get the truck and then try to make a brake line out of some random braided line from Napa. Well, we're on Fins and Things. We rebuilt my brake lines last night. So far, so good. So, we'll see if we make it out of here today. How did the rest of the fluid that's leaking on the brake? We're good brake-wise. All right, well, maybe that was not a good line, I guess. Are you open?
That's a one-tire fire.
You know, you made it the hard part unlocked.
Does he not have lockers?
No, but he's got limited slip. He's limited slip lock, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, so far the new brake lines from Napa that we built are a lot higher quality than those rough country lines, obviously, and they're holding up. Got to keep my brother-in-law safe or my wife would kill me. So the Fonda's doing good. She baited up a couple things I didn't think she could, but the factory limited slip really helps with this.
Everyone needs to be.
You're on the edge.
Woo!
You're gonna hit the back. Right. made it out in one piece. Let me tell you, having the right lift makes this thing so much more enjoyable on the trails. But obviously, she's not done yet. She's not gonna be done for a while. And she needs a couple more things. Like I said earlier in the build, these shocks are about an inch or two too short. And the amount of times that they bottomed out, especially these ones coming off ledges, is crazy. I'm surprised that they did not break. They're tough, but they bottomed out hard, a lot. And obviously we're having brake troubles. We got the brake lines up front fixed. The one over here in the rear is actually fine. It held up really good. This line right here, I flexed the crap out of this thing. This line didn't really ever get maxed out, so I'm probably gonna leave that one for now. I may redo it just to be safe, but for right now, it's gonna stay. And then obviously the exhaust needs to be redone. I'm not gonna leave it open headers. As awesome as it sounds, it is very, very annoying to start up early in the morning. And on another note, oil finally stopped leaking off the bell housing. That manifold gasket did fix the leak. All the excess oil that was already on the block was just still burning off of it. But we finally have no leaks on this thing. As far as what I'm going to do next video on this thing, the right shocks are gonna be going on there. We are probably gonna put a longer rear brake line on it just to give me a little more slack so we don't have any more issues with that. We're gonna pull the drive shafts out, check the U-joints. We're also gonna have both drive shafts rebuilt anyways because the rear is barely hanging on to that slip yoke and the front is out just a little too far. I need to make sure I'm not gonna break either of those. As far as armor, I need rock sliders, I need a new transfer case skid plate, I need a new gas tank skid plate, I need a front bumper. The clearance I have without a bumper is awesome, but I do need something there to protect it if for some reason I do accidentally smack into the front of my car. I'd rather give up a couple inches of ground clearance than not have anything there. So armor, suspension, exhaust, that's gonna be a fun one. Oh, and we're gonna go from 33s to 35s. And then what I want to do axle-wise is selectable locker in the rear, an E-locker. They make one for the Dana 44A now. And a limited slip helical up front. That'll give me all of the grip I could ever need. With that factory limited slip, it does do amazing. I got up so many things just as easy as the guys with lockers did, but just to have one in the front and a locker in the back is gonna make it that much more capable. So if you guys like this video, let me know, because you'll be seeing a lot more LaFonda, and you'll be seeing a lot more of some other stuff too that I'm not gonna ruin. So thanks for watching this video. It was super fun to make. Hope you guys had just as much fun watching it as I had making it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I am trying to hit 2 grand by Christmas. 2,000 subscribers by Christmas. So with that being said, y'all have a great Thanksgiving break. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Friday next week.